It was a hot evening in the small town of Clearwater. The air shimmered with heat and even the birds had gone silent. Eli Turner wiped sweat from his forehead as he finished fixing the old fence behind his house. His throat was dry, his hands dusty. The nearest shop was 2 miles away and he didn't feel like walking. He glanced toward the garden. There stood the rusty old water tap his father had installed years ago, still connected to an underground pipe system that ran to a forgotten well. Guess the old thing still works, he muttered to himself. Eli bent down, turned the handle and waited as the pipe groaned. For a moment nothing came out. Then a sudden gush of clear, cold water burst forth. He smiled. Still got life in you, huh? He cupped his hands and drank deeply. The water was oddly refreshing, cooler than any tap water should be, almost metallic but smooth. He felt it slide down his throat like liquid electricity. For a second his vision blurred. He blinked and shook his head, and then he heard it, a voice. Not from behind him, not from any speaker, but directly from the air around him. You have no idea what you just became. Eli froze. The wrench in his hand slipped and hit the ground with a dull clang. He looked around the empty backyard. Only the wind moved, brushing the leaves gently. Who's there? He called, heart pounding. Is someone messing with me? No answer. Only silence, and yet a faint hum seemed to hang in the air. He rubbed his temples. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe dehydration was making him hear things. He went inside, poured himself some coffee and tried to laugh it off. But his hands were shaking slightly and a strange static tingled under his skin, like ants crawling beneath it. That night he couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes he saw flashes, thin white lines moving through black space like data streams or constellations. He saw gears turning behind his eyelids, and when he opened his eyes again, the world seemed different. His phone buzzed on the table. When he reached for it, it flickered before his fingers even touched the screen, turning on by itself. Eli frowned. He hadn't pressed anything, but the screen showed lines of code, strange symbols he'd never seen. Then the words appeared, protocol waking. Integration phase 3%, Eli's heart raced. He dropped the phone and the text vanished instantly. The phone returned to its lock screen as if nothing had happened. What the hell is going on? He whispered. He ran to the bathroom mirror and stared at himself. He looked normal. Same brown eyes, same tired face. But when he leaned closer, he saw something impossible. A faint silver glint in his pupils, like threads of light weaving inside his eyes. The next morning, his old friend and neighbor Marcy, a nurse, came over for coffee. You look terrible, she said, eyeing him with concern. Did you sleep at all? Eli forced a smile. Rough night. I think I'm coming down with something weird. What kind of weird? He hesitated. I heard a voice. And I think my phone started talking to me. Marcy frowned. You sure you didn't drink something bad? Eli looked toward the window where sunlight hit the garden tap. Just some water from the tap outside. Her expression changed. From that old thing? Eli, that pipe hasn't been used in years. It's probably connected to groundwater that's not even registered on the city grid. Yeah, he said slowly. I figured. But it tasted fine. Still, you should get checked out. There's a new clinic in town. They do full spectrum scans. You've been working too hard, maybe that's all. Eli nodded, though he knew this wasn't exhaustion. Something deeper was happening. That evening, things got worse. As Eli walked through town, lights flickered when he passed by. The street lamps dimmed and brightened, reacting to his presence. His phone vibrated again. He pulled it out and saw the same words. Integration phase 57%. A sudden wave of dizziness hit him. The sounds of the city faded, replaced by whispers. Hundreds of voices murmuring at once, overlapping like layers of static. He clutched his head and stumbled against a wall. And then through the noise he heard that voice again, calm and steady. You are the first in centuries. Stay alive and the others will awaken. Others? He gasped. What others? Who are you? No reply. The voices vanished. He realized people were staring at him. A woman with a stroller gave him a worried look. Are you okay, sir? Yeah, he muttered quickly, forcing himself to straighten. Just dizzy. But deep down he knew something extraordinary and terrifying had started inside him. That night, as he tried to sleep again, a sound woke him. A hum, low and mechanical, coming from the backyard. He grabbed a flashlight and went out. The air was cool still. The garden tap was dripping, glowing faintly blue around the edges. Eli stepped closer, trembling. The ground beneath it vibrated, and he heard faint clicking like machines buried under the soil. Suddenly, his flashlight went dead. The tap's glow grew brighter, casting light across the grass. He reached out, barely breathing. "Okay," he whispered. "What are you?" The tap hissed, and a thin beam of light shot upward, forming a circle of symbols in the air. The light moved and twisted until it became words hanging in front of him. Activation confirmed. Guardian awakened. Eli stumbled backward, his heart thudding. The ground shook softly under his feet. From deep below, a pulse traveled upward through the earth, a rhythm like a heartbeat. Then headlights appeared down the road. A black vehicle rolled to a stop by his driveway. Two people stepped out, both dressed in black suits, their faces hidden by reflective visors. One of them spoke with calm authority. "Mr. Turner?" Eli swallowed hard. "Yeah?" "You've activated a dormant protocol," the agent said. "Please come with us. For your safety and everyone else's." Eli took a step back. "I'm not going anywhere until you tell me what's happening." The second agent tilted her head. "We can't explain here. But know this, you are not infected. You are chosen." "Chosen for what?" The first agent looked at the glowing tap. "For something older than our species." Eli's pulse quickened. "That water, what was in it?" The agent hesitated. Then quietly, "Not water. Nanite suspension. A seed left behind by the first builders. You were the first compatible host to drink it." Eli blinked, trying to process the words. "Nanites, builders? What does that mean?" The woman lowered her visor, revealing calm gray eyes. "It means, Mr. Turner, humanity just took its next step. And you, whether you like it or not, are leading the way." Eli stood there in shock. The tap had gone dark again, silent as if nothing had happened. But when he looked at his reflection in the agent's visor, he saw faint silver lines glowing under his skin, veins of light tracing across his arms. He whispered, "What's happening to me?" The agent looked at him with something almost like respect. "You're becoming what humanity was always meant to be." And before he could respond, they guided him toward the black vehicle. The hum in his body grew stronger, syncing with the rhythm in the earth. As the car doors closed and the vehicle rolled away into the night, Eli Turner looked back one last time at his small garden, the old rusty tap, and the quiet sky above. He didn't know where they were taking him or what he had become. But one thing was certain, his life and maybe all of humanity had just changed forever. The black vehicle drove for hours through the dark countryside. Inside, Eli Turner sat between the two silent agents, watching the empty highway slide past. The only sound came from the soft hum of the engine and a faint vibration that seemed to echo inside his bones. He tried to speak several times, but the agent said nothing until the car entered a desert area, where the land stretched wide and empty under the stars. At last they stopped near a flat plain of rock. There was nothing around, no lights, no buildings. The woman pressed her hand against a small device on her wrist. A circular section of the ground split open, revealing an elevator platform that descended into darkness. Eli stared. "You've got to be kidding me." "Welcome to Site 9, the male agent said simply. The platform began to sink. Cool air rose from below, carrying the scent of metal and ozone. Lights flickered on in the walls as they descended into what looked like an underground city. A maze of tunnels, glowing panels and silent machines that stretched farther than Eli could see. Arrival when they reached the bottom, a group of people in white uniforms was waiting. One of them, an older woman with short silver hair, stepped forward. Her voice was calm but firm. "I'm Dr. Reese. Mr. Turner, I know you're confused. You deserve answers." Eli nodded, though his mind was spinning. "You think?" "Yesterday I was fixing a fence. Now I'm, what, part machine?" Reese smiled faintly. "Not part machine. Part original." She led him through a wide hallway lined with glowing glass. Behind each wall, strange shapes floated. Metallic vines, pulsing orbs, fragments of crystal that seemed alive. "These are samples of the garden code," Reese explained. "Technology left behind by the first builders, our ancestors from a forgotten age. Long before recorded history, humans reached a level of science that allowed them to merge biology with nanotechnology. They could command matter with thought." Eli frowned. "Then what happened? Why don't we remember them?" Reese stopped in front of a holographic display. Images appeared. Ruined cities half buried in dust, skies filled with broken satellites. They destroyed themselves. she said softly. They built wonders, but they also built weapons that tore the world apart. Before they fell, they hid their greatest creation underground, a self-repairing network meant to rebuild Earth one day. That network was called the Garden. To control it, they created a biological key, a human who could awaken the system when the planet was ready again. Eli stared at her. "And you think I'm that key?" Reese met his eyes. "You don't need us to think it. The Garden already chose you." Testing the change, they took him to a chamber filled with humming machines. Wires stretched across the ceiling like glowing roots. Reese motioned toward a platform. "Stand there, please." Eli stepped onto it nervously. A soft light surrounded him. For a moment, nothing happened. Then lines of data appeared in the air, forming patterns that twisted and reformed around his body. One of the technicians gasped. "The nanites are fully integrated. Neural resonance, perfect sync." Eli felt a warm pulse spread through him. He saw colors in the air again, streams of information that connected everything around him. He realized he could sense the rhythm of the facility itself, the heartbeat of its generators, even the movement of the people nearby. Reese watched closely. "You feel it, don't you?" The system responding, he nodded slowly. "It's like the world's alive, and it's talking to me." "Exactly," she said. "The Garden is a living network, and you are its voice." The moment filled him with awe and fear in equal measure. The hidden enemy later that night. Reese brought him to a quiet observation deck overlooking the subterranean city. "I know this is overwhelming," she said, "but there's something you must understand. The Garden's signal was dormant for 2,000 years. When you drank that water, you reactivated it, and something else heard it." Eli turned sharply. "Something else?" Reese nodded, her expression grave. "The Sithra, an ancient alien species. Our records suggest they once harvested the first builders for technology. When the builders hid the Garden, they hid it from the Sithra. Now that you've awakened the signal, the Sithra will detect it again." Eli felt his stomach drop. "So I've just invited aliens to attack Earth?" "Not yet," Reese said. "But their probes are already entering the solar system. We've intercepted transmissions, patterns matching Sithra code." He looked out over the glowing tunnels. "Well, what do you expect me to do about it?" "You are connected to the Garden. It can protect us, but only if you learn to control it. You can reshape matter, reroute power, and even command satellites through resonance. We'll train you, but we don't have much time." Learning to command days passed in blur. Eli trained under constant supervision. They taught him how to focus his mind, to see the structure of machines as threads of energy. At first, it felt impossible. But soon things responded to his thoughts. Lights dimmed when he willed them to. A broken drone repaired itself in seconds under his touch. He could move data through networks faster than any computer. The scientists watched in amazement. "He's learning faster than predicted," one whispered. But with every success came exhaustion. The more he used the connection, the more he felt the weight of something vast pressing back against his mind. The Garden itself, ancient and sentient. Sometimes he heard whispers in the static again. "Guardian, awaken the root." When he asked Reese about it, she grew uneasy. The root is the heart of the Garden. It lies deep beneath the Earth near the planet's core. No human has ever reached it. "Maybe it's trying to guide you." Eli shivered. "Or maybe it wants control." The first contact a week later, alarms blared through Site 9. Red lights flashed. Technicians shouted, "Unidentified object entering atmosphere." Eli ran with Reese to the command center. On the main screen, a dark shape streaked across the sky. An alien probe descending through the clouds. "It's them," Reese said grimly. "The Sithra." The probe crashed into the desert above them, carving a crater. Soldiers rushed to the surface, but before they reached it, a pulse wave erupted. Every machine nearby shut down instantly. The power inside the base flickered. Monitors went dark. Eli felt the hum inside him grow violent, like something calling out. Reese turned to him. "Can you stop it?" "I don't know how." "Try, focus on the signal, shut it out." He closed his eyes. Instinct guided him. The world around him faded into sound and rhythm. He felt the alien probe pulsing with foreign energy, sending commands into Earth systems. Eli reached out with his mind and touched the signal. The probe resisted, pushing back like a living thing. He gritted his teeth, forcing his will through it. Then, with a final burst of light, the connection snapped. The power returned. The screens lit up again. "It's neutralized," a technician said in disbelief. Reese stared at Eli. You just fought off a Sithra AI. That shouldn't be possible. Eli's voice shook. It's not me, it's the garden. It protects itself. Doubt and discovery later, resting in his quarters, Eli replayed the moment in his mind. For the first time he felt pride but also fear. If he could stop one probe, what about a whole fleet? He walked to the glass wall overlooking the underground city. The lights glowed softly, pulsing like stars. The garden was alive and it was inside him. He spoke aloud to the empty room. What do you want from me? The air shimmered and faint golden symbols appeared before him, shapes forming a message only he could read. To survive, you must awaken the root. All life depends on it. Eli frowned. Awaken it how? The words shifted, merge, complete the connection. Before he could ask more, the symbols vanished. The rising storm the next day, Site-9 received new images from orbital sensors, dozens of Sithra ships moving toward Earth. Reese gathered the senior staff. They're coming faster than expected, she said. We have days, maybe less. Eli looked at her. You said the garden can defend the planet. Then let me reach the root, Reese hesitated. It's risky. If you lose control, the system could consume you or destroy half the world. He stood firm. If we do nothing, the Sithra will destroy everything anyway. I have to try. After a long silence, Reese nodded. Then we'll guide you as far as we can. The descent begins. They prepared the core descent chamber, a vast tunnel leading deep into the earth. The walls pulsed with light as ancient machinery awakened for the first time in millennia. Eli stood at the edge, wearing a simple suit lined with sensors. Reese placed a hand on his shoulder. Remember, she said softly, you're not a weapon. You're the bridge between what we were and what we can be. He smiled faintly. Let's hope that's enough. As the platform began to lower, the hum inside him grew louder, now almost like a heartbeat that matched his own. Data patterns filled his vision. The garden was guiding him, showing him tunnels of light beneath the planet's crust. Somewhere far above, the first Sithra warships entered orbit. Eli took a deep breath. All right, garden, he whispered. Show me the root. The platform sank into darkness, surrounded by glowing roots of living metal. The platform carrying Eli Turner descended deeper than he ever imagined. The walls of the tunnel glowed with veins of pulsating light, metallic roots stretching into the darkness like the branches of some ancient tree. The hum inside him grew louder. No longer just a signal, it was a heartbeat that resonated through the planet itself. This is it, Eli whispered, voice trembling. The root. Beside him, the agents watched silently. Dr. Reese's face was calm, but her eyes betrayed worry. The root is alive, she said softly. It will respond to you fully, but it will test your will. Be careful, Eli nodded. He had no choice. Above the earth, the Sithra fleet had appeared, hundreds of ships darkening the sky, orbiting like predators circling their prey. Humanity's defenses had already faltered. Only he and the garden stood between Earth and total destruction. The heart of the planet. The platform stopped at the base of a massive chamber. The walls were crystalline, covered with glowing symbols that shifted constantly like liquid light. At the center, a gigantic root rose from the ground, spreading outward like the heart of the earth itself. Eli approached it cautiously. The root pulsed as he drew near, and the hum in his body synchronized perfectly with the vibrations in the chamber. He could feel it thinking, judging, waiting. Step forward, a voice said. Not in words, but in his mind. It was deep, ancient, echoing across time. Guardian. Merge and awaken the garden. Eli's heart pounded. He placed his hands on the root. Light surged into him, rushing up his arms, filling his chest, coursing through every nerve. His vision exploded with streams of information. The history of humanity. The rise and fall of the first builders. The secrets buried beneath the earth for millennia. This is incredible, he whispered. I can see everything. Yes, the voice replied. Now you are ready. But know this, power awakens opposition. The Sithra approach. They will not yield. Eli clenched his teeth. Then I won't either. The arrival of the Sithra above ground, the Sithra fleet began to descend, their ships massive and glowing with strange energy. Orbital weapons fired, but the garden inside Eli responded instantly. Satellites, power grids, even communications relays bent to his will. Inside the chamber, Eli could feel the Sithra signals, their presence in the atmosphere, their ships moving like living entities. He could hear their thoughts, cold and alien, probing the planet's networks. "They are stronger than I imagined," he murmured. Rhys's voice crackled in his ear. "You're not just human anymore. You are the Garden. You can override them, but it will take everything you have." Eli closed his eyes. He reached out not with his hands, but with his mind. The root responded instantly, sending tendrils of glowing energy through the planet, connecting every network, every machine, every satellite, even the alien ships themselves. "This is our planet," Eli shouted in his mind. The Sithra vessels resisted. Energy pulses struck him back, testing his will. The hum inside him became a roar. His body glowed silver and gold, a living conduit for the Garden. And then something unexpected happened. The Sithra spoke, not in words but in thought, directly into his mind. "Prime Architect." "You cannot win," Eli gritted his teeth. "Watch me." The human override, he focused. The Garden responded fully, becoming an extension of his consciousness. The machines obeyed his thoughts instantly. Satellites repositioned, energy grids overloaded alien shields, and the roots of the root reached outward into the planet, touching every fiber of the Earth's surface. Eli could see the Sithra ships, their metallic hulls glowing with alien energy. One by one, he touched them with his mind. The Garden rewrote their circuits, rewired their systems, and finally dissolved their structures. Light poured from their bodies as the matter reassembled into harmless particles, absorbed by the planet's own energy field. He felt exhaustion pressing down, but he kept going. Each pulse of light, each stream of energy was like a heartbeat connecting him to every human on Earth. Humanity's resilience, its will to survive, flowed through him, strengthening the Garden. "You thought humans were weak," Eli shouted into the void, "but we never stopped learning. We never stopped fighting." The Sithra fleet faltered. Their coordinated attacks broke apart. They had underestimated the unity of human will and the legacy of the first builders. Rewriting the future minutes felt like hours. Eli expanded his consciousness further, touching the planet itself. Oceans and forests pulsed with energy. Every human city became a node in the Garden's network, responding to his thought. He could feel the heartbeat of every living thing. And then, at the peak of his connection, a wave of energy shot upward into space, visible as a silver aurora that surrounded Earth. The remaining Sithra ships froze in midair. Their alien intelligence tried to resist, but the Garden was stronger. Every command they sent was intercepted, rewritten, and reversed. Eli opened his eyes. The stars outside seemed brighter, clearer, as though the planet itself had turned into a shielded beacon. One by one, the Sithra ships disassembled, their atoms absorbed by the Garden's network, their consciousness dissolved. The Earth was safe. For now. The aftermath, when Eli finally stepped back from the root, he was exhausted. His body glowed faintly, veins of silver light still pulsing under his skin. Rhys and the agents approached cautiously. "You did it," Rhys said softly. "You've done what no human has done in millennia." Eli sank to his knees. "I couldn't have. Not without the Garden. It's alive and it chose me." Rhys knelt beside him. "It chose humanity. You were just the first to awaken it." Eli looked up at the ceiling of the chamber where light flowed like a river. "So what happens now?" "The Garden will remain active," Rhys explained. "It will repair the planet, defend it, and guide us. Humanity will have a second chance, one we never expected." "And you?" She paused, her voice full of respect. "You will be its guardian. Its first voice." Eli nodded, finally feeling pride, hope, and purpose all at once. For the first time, he understood what the voice at the Garden tap had meant. "You have no idea what you just became." Now he did. A new dawn weeks later, Eli emerged from the underground chamber. The world above had changed subtly. Cities hummed with efficiency, energy flowed cleanly, and people felt an unexplainable sense of calm and connection. The aurora from the planetary defense still shimmered faintly in the sky, a reminder of the power guarding them. Eli walked through clear water, feeling the hum of the Garden beneath his feet. Children played safely in the streets, unaware of the battle that had just been fought above their heads and beneath the ground. Humanity had survived. Humanity had evolved. He stopped by his old garden tap, now quiet and ordinary looking. He bent down and touched it gently. A faint pulse ran through his fingers. "You were waiting for me," he whispered. The garden responded in its own silent way. Eli smiled. Humanity had been given a second chance, and this time, they would not fail. Above, the stars twinkled indifferent to everything below, but Eli knew the truth. Humans were no longer ordinary. They were the architects of their own destiny, guided by a power as old as the planet itself, and somewhere deep in the earth. The root pulsed alive, watching and ready. Eli Turner turned toward the horizon, feeling the weight and the wonder of what he had become. A guardian, a human unlike any other, a new dawn for all of humanity.